Arizona is one of the freest gun states in America, but people still break the law every day, usually without realizing it. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly where that legal line is. Chapter 1. Arizona Carry Baseline. Arizona is a constitutional carry state, but still issues concealed carry permits. If you're 21 or older and you can legally possess a handgun, Arizona generally allows you to carry it open or concealed without a permit. If you're 18 to 20, the rule changes slightly. You can still open carry, but you can't use the permitless concealed carry lane yet in most cases. There are a few limited exceptions. For example, active duty military members can qualify for a CCW permit at 19. That age rule is about carrying, not owning or buying firearms. Hold on until Chapter 5 for those rules. Rifles and shotguns sit in a slightly different legal lane. Arizona generally allows possession of long guns, and the state has no so-called assault weapon ban and no magazine capacity limits like other states. Now, quick question for the Arizona carriers watching. Are you open carry or concealed carry? And I'm sure you know, carry rights don't apply everywhere. The fastest way people accidentally break Arizona gun law is location. Chapter 2. Prohibited places in Arizona. Even in a permitless carry state, location restrictions apply. Some of the biggest no-go zones are federal buildings, including post offices, courtrooms and courthouses, public buildings or permitted events with security screening and firearm storage available, polling places during elections, detention or correctional facilities, nuclear or certain hydroelectric generating stations. Carrying on K-12 school grounds is generally restricted. There is a narrow vehicle exception. The firearm must be unloaded and kept inside a vehicle under the control of an adult. If the person leaves the vehicle, the firearm can't be visible and the vehicle must be locked. That's how some parents do curbside pickup and drop off. The firearm stays in the vehicle. Colleges and universities operate differently. They usually regulate firearms through campus policy rather than the same statewide criminal rules used for K-12 schools. Alcohol is one of the biggest traps in Arizona gun law. On the licensed premises of a bar or restaurant that sells alcohol for on-site consumption, carrying a firearm is generally illegal unless you have an Arizona CCW permit and the business has not posted the required 4-229 sign. If that sign is posted, staff doesn't have to warn you first. I'm curious what you think. Should bars be allowed to prohibit firearms? Surprisingly, a lot said yes last time. Airports are different. The real restriction hits at the TSA checkpoint and in the secure area. Firearms are not allowed through the screening checkpoint, and if you are flying with one, TSA requires it to be unloaded, locked in a hard-sided case, and checked with the airline. Public, non-secured areas like curbside are a different lane and generally allowed. Private property owners, whether business or private residents, may prohibit firearms. Outside the liquor sign rule, most no-gun signs are enforced through trespass. If the owner tells you to leave and you don't, that's when it becomes a charge. Another place Arizona law changes quickly is tribal land. Tribal nations are sovereign governments, and Arizona carry laws do not automatically apply there. Many tribes restrict or prohibit firearms without authorization. Quick question for Arizona carriers. Where do you keep your gun in the car? Glove box, center console, or magnet mount? In Arizona, the law actually allows more flexibility than most people realize. Let's walk through how firearm transportation works. Chapter 3. Transportation of firearm. Arizona's vehicle rules are very gun-friendly, but there are a few details to know. First off, the federal rule called the Gun-Free School Zone Act creates a 1,000-foot zone around K-12 schools. Arizona CCW holders are exempt. Without a permit, the gun generally must be unloaded and locked in a container. Now, outside of that, Arizona says if you're 21 or older, you can keep a handgun anywhere in the vehicle, concealed or not. The gun doesn't need to be unloaded, locked in a container, or separated from ammunition. If you're legally allowed to possess it, Arizona generally lets you keep it in the vehicle. Now, if you're under 21, the handgun cannot simply be hidden loose in the vehicle. It must either be visible or inside a case, holster, pack, luggage, or a storage compartment like a glove box or center console. Now let's talk traffic stops. Arizona does not have a duty to inform law, so you don't have to volunteer that you're carrying a firearm during a stop. If the officer asks, you should answer truthfully. And yes, during the stop, an officer may take temporary custody of the firearm for the duration of the contact. But here's something many people don't realize. Some people legally cannot possess a firearm at all, and many don't even know it. Do you?
Chapter 4. Prohibited people in Arizona. If you're a prohibited person, none of the carry talk matters. Not the permitless baseline, not the car rules, not the signs, or even the Second Amendment. None of it. You are not allowed to have a firearm. Work on getting your rights restored if you can. But you might not even know you're prohibited. Common prohibited possessor categories include felony convictions without restored rights, domestic violence convictions including some misdemeanors, certain protection orders or court orders, fugitives from justice, unlawful user of controlled substances, certain mental health commitments or adjudication, dishonorable discharge, and illegal unlawful presence in the US. And the biggest I didn't know category of all the prohibited people is certain juvenile felony adjudications that can still block firearm possessions years into adulthood. Many miss this because juvenile record sounds like it disappears, and Arizona's permitless carry makes people think, oh, I'm old enough, I'm good. This rule quietly says not always. If you're legally allowed to possess a firearm, the next question becomes simple. How do you actually buy one in Arizona? Chapter 5. Firearm purchases and transfers. Now, Arizona keeps it pretty simple. Most dealer sales run through NICS, NICS, and in some cases, an Arizona CCW can qualify as a NICS alternative, though dealers can still choose to run the check. Federal law also sets the purchase age. You must be 18 to buy rifles or shotguns from a dealer and 21 to buy handguns from a dealer. The response comes back in one of three ways: proceed, delay, deny. If the response is delay, federal law allows the dealer to transfer the firearm after 3 business days if no denial is received. Buyers under 21 may be subject to up to 10 business days. Once approved, there's no state-mandated waiting period. You can buy and walk out the same day. Arizona does not require universal background checks for private sales. No permit or registration needed. Private sellers can't knowingly transfer to prohibited possessors. Many private sellers choose to verify ID and keep a simple bill of sale to cover themselves. It's not required by law, but I recommend it. It helps document that the firearm left your possession since Arizona has no firearm registration system tracking ownership. One thing that will absolutely get people into trouble is something called a straw purchase. Buying a firearm for someone who is prohibited, that's a federal felony. So knowing the law is step 1. Being prepared with the law is step 2. The next question is simple. How do you carry every day in the Arizona heat comfortably? Now, we're an Arizona-based carry company, and Jane's going to show you how we solve that problem.
Hey, if you made it this far, you probably care about doing things right. If you've tried carrying in gym shorts or sweats, it just never feels quite right. Waistband moves, holster shifts, it's fine, but it's not dialed. That is why we built Relaxed Fit Tactical. Our shorts lock onto an inner belt, so your holster clips to a hidden belt, not just fabric. Same setup, same draw, just more comfortable. So if you carry every day, this just makes sense. Links below.